torching the Lakers.
He was Steph Curry before Steph Curry.
Quickness and the creative flair he had.
He wasn't good, he was great. It looked like I was watching God play basketball.
He wasn't good, he was great. All that praise is for former Denver Nugget point guard Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, who had led the team in scoring and was considered among the best in the game. But the praise turned to criticism in 1996 when Abdul-Rauf, a recent convert to Islam, refused to stand for the national anthem before games, choosing to stretch or stay in the locker room.
I noticed that Mahmoud was not standing for the national anthem.
He believes the flag symbolizes oppression.
Am I saying that everything in America is bad? No. But wherever the bad is, as a Muslim, we don't stand for it.
That clip is from a new Showtime documentary called Stand, about the rise and fall of Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf. He joins us now. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So let's start from the beginning. You come from humble beginnings in Mississippi, have OCD, Tourette syndrome. What did it take for you to climb to the highest heights in basketball?
Oh, well, I'm always going to mention the importance of my belief in God, even as a child. You know, that was something that I focused on relentlessly. But then just the work ethic, waking up every morning, making the decision that this is what I wanted to do, but also having a feeling that it was life or death, that if I don't make it, I don't know if my life's going to say for itself. So that kept propelling me forward.
During your time in the league, you converted to Islam, changed your name, decided to no longer stand for the national anthem. What caused you to do that?
I began to read. I became a Muslim. Ramadan came around. I finished the whole Quran. I began to have dialogue. And knowledge has a way of, when you engage in conversation, you develop confidence. The confidence turns into courage. And eventually you realize, you know, I got to do something with this information.
You were a leading scorer on the Denver Nuggets. Was there a time when you started to think about the repercussions and the risks of your actions?
Of course. In reading history, you see the John Carloses, the Tommy Lees, the Muhammad Alis, what happens when a person speaks their conscience. And I wasn't unaware of it, but at the same time, you have this delusional hope that maybe things have changed, people understand now, but you're quickly awakened to that's not the case when you articulate certain things.
Over time, you were ultimately traded, then cut, had to play overseas. Kind of walk us through that time, your mentality and outlook then.
Oh my, it was some of the toughest moments of my life. Not being able to get a job in the NBA, then going overseas, and because they know you can't get that job, they're getting you for cheap, right? And then you spent most of your life honing your skills to do this. So you don't feel like, in a sense, there's not much else you can do. And so the money, because we, African Americans, we don't have generational wealth, so we take care of a lot of families. And if we don't have things, the money goes fast. And so there was a period when I lost everything. And so, but I kept it quiet and kept asking God to guide my steps, and here I am.
Of course, there are the inevitable comparisons between you and Colin Kaepernick. How do you feel that there's about 20 years between the two situations. How do you feel that his has ended up differently from yours?
I think the difference is when I was taking my position at that time, there was no social media. So the media could control the narrative more. And social media, things have shifted, you know. It wasn't as easily controlled. And I was talking to Dr. Harry Edwards, and he put it in perspective, and I never heard it before. He said, you know, when Muhammad Ali took his stand, there was a Black Power movement to frame it under. When Colin Kaepernick did it, there was the Black Lives Matter movement. He said when you and Craig Hodges did it, there was no movement. It was like you were in an ocean all by yourself. I said, well, that's interesting. But I think the difference is social media and the attention, because I had a lot of mail that came through, death threats, but I also had as much support mail, atheists, Christians, black, white, women, men. But you would have never known because social media wasn't alive then.
When you look back on just how you were vilified, are there things that you say, you know, I would have done this differently?
Well, I mean, with the luxury of hindsight, I would like to have thought that I could have been more knowledgeable, more articulate, but in terms of making the decision, no, I would have still made the decision, because afterwards I've never stopped. Yeah. And I think teams are important. You know, I love what Kaepernick did in terms of having Know Your Rights campaign, to follow it up that's something that if I had the chance to do it again, I would have liked to have said that I would have done something down those lines.
You still play basketball?
Yeah, of course.
Do you feel at all that the NBA owes you an apology?
That's a very good question. I'm gonna leave that up to the NBA. I'm not gonna beg them for an apology, but as far as I'm concerned, apologies in and of themselves, by themselves, mean nothing. It's like someone apologizing for slavery, but there's no reparations. So, because families were destroyed, you know, that could have been helped, and a person's career was destroyed. But if they were conscious and wanted to do the right thing, that's what they would do.
How did this documentary come about?
I think the timing was right due to all this happening in the world, with athletes being more vocal. But also, I'm 53 now, I've lived, I've experienced more, and I feel I'm in a position more so to articulate what I went through compared to when I was younger.
What's next for you?
Oh, wow. You know, I'm looking to, at some point, do a podcast. I'm writing another book. I do a lot of speaking engagements. I'm looking to travel the world to do that on different topics. So just trying to stay versatile and busy.
All right, Mahmoud, the Steph Curry before Steph Curry, as they say.
Yeah, I'm humble.
We thank you so much for your time and sharing your story. I want to let our viewers know that Stan will be available on Showtime and on-demand platforms starting tomorrow.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.